Hi friends, welcome back. This is Solomon Jagwe. I am back with another quick insight and a mini tutorial. I know it's been a minute since I've done a more detailed tutorial like this one, but here goes. So today we're going to be looking at this video right here. So several of you asked me, how were you able to make Darth Maul in and animate him in iClone. So I was able to create this environment. No, sorry, I was able to create this video and animate this character inside of iClone, and then rendered him in the Unreal Engine 5. So, but the main question is, how was I able to create the character in the first place and animate the character in iClone? So the steps that I'm going to be sharing with you can be applied to any character that is coming from Daz. So this character started off as a Daz 3D character, and then I took him into Character Creator 3, and then off to iClone for animation. So just a quick note, guys, if you're new to my channel, I kindly ask that you spare a minute to subscribe. And oh my gosh, I forgot. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me get to 10,000 subscribers. It's not easy. It really isn't easy to get to 10,000 subscribers. So I really, really appreciate your support, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you know what's funny? And I probably will do another video about this. I was like, what happens to your channel when you get to 10,000 subscribers, So I'll be able to do that in-depth tutorial. But there's some cool things that happen when you get to 10,000. And so another thing I wanted to do is I'll give a shout out to my patrons. You guys have inspired me. So all these tutorials that you see me create over here, I owe a lot of that to these patrons who share a little bit of their funds with me every single month, so that I'm able to set aside time to create tutorials to help you, my fellow animators. So if you are able, kindly consider becoming a patron. If you're not able, it's all right, guys. I'm still going to continue creating tutorials to help you, so that we can join in this journey together and tell our stories and create animated films. And so the tutorial that we're talking about today started as this guy right here. So this model is from For Render. So some of you had asked, where did you get Darth Maul from? Right? Did you go off into space, someone picking him? No, guys, I picked him up from For Render. And as you can see, it's a very, very cheap model, $16.50. So you don't have to model Darth Maul. But the key is, this is a Genesis 3 model, so which means you have to have Daz Studio to be able to use it. So make sure you download Daz Studio and import him as a character to that once you purchase him, all right? And the program that we're going to be using is Daz 3D. It's really it's a free program. You can download it from here. And then we're going to be using iClone for the animation. And then Character Creator is going to be what we'll use to convert this model, the Daz model, into a Character Creator 3 file that then we can animate. And what is really, really, really cool is that we're going to be able to use ExPlus, all those cool new things that they've added in Character Creator 3 and in 3.4 features, and in iClone 7.9. We're going to be able to use those features inside of to take the model that we've of Darth Maul and be able to animate him to be able to create something like this, right? So the animation comes from Actor Core, right? And then the body of the character is going to be using Character Creator 3. So let's get started. Let me minimize this. It's cool. So it's so cool to render in the Unreal Engine 5. My goodness, so happy. And by the way, the machine that I'm working on right now is not the machine that I really wanted to start off with, because I wanted to give a shout out to Puget Systems for supporting me with an awesome machine that has a 3090 card in there. This is my previous machine that has a Duo 2080 Ti in there, and actually you can see the memory here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Daz. And while I'm loading that, let me actually bring up Character Creator 3, because we're definitely going to need that. So in Daz, let's go and look for, it's going to be under It's going to be the figures. All right. And so this character is actually clothing. It comes in as a clothing asset. So first we have to start with a Genesis 8, no, a Genesis 3 model. So first we go to people and we have to load a Genesis 3 model, right? So I have several libraries. So sometimes these files get to be so big that I have to create different libraries and put some of them on my external hard drive. So let's go and see under people, Genesis 3 mail. So we'll just start with a Genesis 3 model here. Please bear with me as I go through this because I have a lot of content here. And I think this is the awesome thing is that we get to bring out all these libraries that we've been accumulating over time. We get to actually finally animate them and make them come to life. So here we have a Genesis 3 model. This is going to be our basis. So once the model that you've taken from this model that we're talking about, this one, you've imported it and put him in the folder. So you have to put him in the data folder. So the way you find that is just right click on this and browse to file location. Okay. So once you've purchased the model, make sure you download, drag and the folder in here, into the people. So it will be like a structured folder. Drag him into your my public documents in my Daz 3D library, and then you put him in here. That's how he'll be able to show up under the people. So it's going to be clothing. All right. So once you've created the Genesis 3 model, then we're going to go to clothing, and it's going to be dark. So here's the pack, as you can see. And let me see if I can, because I need to be able to rotate this. Sorry about this. Come on, really? All right, it's not gonna let me do that, but that's all right. So we start with this character, go to Genesis 3, clip at the very top. And if you don't want him to have highlighting, just do that check mark off there like that. All right, so we start with the head first. Double click on that. And so our Darth Maul is starting to come together, and rotate him like this. And so this is the cool thing is that, this is, let me actually see if I can switch on NVIDIA Array. That's what it looks like using before we get to Character Creator 3. So this is the material, as you can see there. Okay. And it looks really beautiful. The way they did the texturing and all that, that is really cool. And the eyes, because that's really what kicks off. Now, when we get to Character Creator 3, we'll be able to add some more redness and all that, and also the texturing. So I wanted to add some wrinkles on him. Not that Darth Maul is just old, but I just want to give him character. All right, let's go back to just textured mode. And so we select our model again. And now we're going to put on all the horns. Double click on the horns. And there they are. Now, that is Darth Maul. Like, even before you add everything else, this is a classic Darth Maul look. Right? That is so cool. And if we switch over real quick to NVIDIA Array, let's see what the horns look like. And they look really cool. Look at that. Look at that. So cool. So cool. All right. I go back to textured mode. Let's make sure the character is selected. We're going to put on the shirt. Put on the pants. Let's zoom out just to make sure that we can see him. All right. And then we're going to put on the boots. So just go through and add everything, the gloves, and put on the skirt. Darth Maul has a skirt. Okay, I don't know, that cracks me up, but it's left hand, right hand. So if you wanted a lightsaber in both hands, the video that I did, this one, I just wanted him to be like lethal. Darth Maul fights with one lightsaber, but I wanted him to have the double lightsabers. Really, really cool. And just slice whatever gets through. And then so I'm doing like an animation. It's look like a story where he's gonna fight. So it's gonna be epic. I can't wait to share that with you guys. All right. So let's minimize that. All right. So I recommend you put both of them in here so that in case you want to just use one, then you just have to turn off the visibility of the other one. So, and I noticed that, one is facing the other way, one is facing that way. So these are things that you can adjust before you export. All right. So we have everything that we need right now to take Darth Maul to CC3. Okay. So make sure you save this model in case there's a crash or whatever. You never know. And the next stage is really to make sure the model is selected up at the top. Sometimes I deselect, but you can select the entire model and just go to File, Export, Save. And those are the settings that I'm using. I am using to embed and collect the textures. And let's just want to merge the clothing into the figure skeleton. No animations. I want the mouth for sure. I'll turn on the limits as well. And anything else? No. All right, so those are the things that I want to change. And I'm using FPX 2011 binary. I was exporting a different model. That's why some of these things were changed. Anyway, click accept. And that's went too quick for my liking. Just gotta make sure. Yeah, I don't think that worked properly. Let's go back. I think I did something different. So we'll go File, Export, FBX, Save. We're gonna overwrite this just because it's there. Not selected. So you don't want just to select it. You want everything. We want to save, export everything. Sorry about that, guys. And no lights, cameras, nothing. We just want this, and then press accept. Yeah, that is more like it. I was like, no, Darth Maul is too tiny for that. So that is done. Let's minimize. Make sure it's yes. That is more like it. All right, now we need to go to character creator. All right, guys, now that we have character creator 3 open, and by the way, guys, this is a character creator 3.4, so it's important for you to be using the correct version of character creator 3. So that model, this model right here that we exported, now we can import into character creator 3 and go to the transformer tool up here. So I don't want to use CC3 because I want to be able to add ExPlus and be able to have that support for ARKit and have those nice blend shapes. So make sure you use CC3 Plus. That is the newer version that is there. It's available in 3.4, Character Creator 3.4. Click on that and go to the folder where you save that character and click open. And depending on the speed of your machine, this process might take a little bit, less than normal. But if it's a fast machine, it's going to take it will be quick. So I don't want to do basic. I want to use advanced. And advanced is going to enable me to bake the texture over here. And I always choose 4096 because most of the animations that I do usually come up. I tend to go very close to the camera, so you don't have to do this, but I also try to crank this up. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's really high resolution. And again, depending on your machine, you may not have to do this, but I'm just showing you what I tend to do because I'm sending this model to the Unreal Engine, and I know the Unreal Engine, especially Unreal Engine 5, is going to be able to handle a lot of these polys and the texture sizes. Because I'm not making a video game, I'm doing for film. So I want the highest level of texture. All right, and it's gonna bake it. And this is an automatic process because CC3 is gonna detect the model having come from the Daz Studio. So it automatically identifies the shirt as cloth, pants, boots as shoes, gloves as gloves, like that. So that's important to me to keep that as well. And click OK. All right. And this is the process again. Just it's gonna go through the entire character. It's gonna bake the textures, and because I chose a high resolution, size, it's gonna take a little bit longer than normal. So there are 78 textures. So it depends on the model that you're bringing in, but Darth Maul has 78 uh, textures, and so this one we just have to let it go through the process. And while it's doing that, let me talk about something else real quick. The thing that I'm trying to remind you of is that it's going to take Character Creator 3.4, the pipeline version. So there are different versions of Character Creator 3.4, but you need the pipeline version to be able to do all this. And also for iClone, you definitely need the pipeline version of iClone as well. So we are at 27 textures. And so sometimes I've been told, several of you have asked me to, just speed it up and go to the next stage, but my tutorials tend to be process intensive because I like showing every single step in case I fail or fall so that you have an idea. Right now, it's very easy to think that this has crashed, but it hasn't crashed. It's just going through and processing the many textures that are in there. So diffuse and opacity and things like that. So just bear with me as it goes through. And what I'll do, I'm going to do my best in all my future videos to add chapters so that you can skip to the next stage if you already know some of these steps. But for those who are beginners, I try to show this whole process so that you have an idea of what it entails. And sometimes it's very easy to think it has crashed, but it hasn't crashed. Just be patient, hang in there, and it's going to do what it needs to do. If you try to do Control Z, whatever, or go to the control panel, you don't do that. Just let it go through and finish up. And again, depending on the speed of your machine, it might take a little bit. It might be faster if you have a faster machine. And also, if you have more memory in your graphics card, the higher the textures, you'll be able to set higher texture resolutions, which right now I'm using a Duo 2080 Ti, but iClone only uses 1 GPU at any given time. All right. So there's Darth Maul in all his glory. And so the first thing that I always do when I bring this character in is to change some things, like enhance the eyes, for example. So we'll do that. Click on Enhance Eyes and create a tear line and eye occlusion. It makes a big difference, and you see why. So now you can see like a nice shadowing around the eye. That is important. All right. And so, and also the skin, because I'm taking this to the Unreal Engine eventually. This tutorial is mainly to show how I made this character. And actually, already by this point of the tutorial, we've already achieved the goal, being able to create this character. And the way you know that this has come in properly is to check and see if the ExPlus morphs are there. And the way you do that is you go to Edit Facial over here and click on Modify and click on this tab right here. By default, it might be one of these, but if it loads and that's not showing, make sure you click on it and you'll be able to see all these morphs that are supported by ARKit, which is what is on the iPhone 10. So you can see bro inner up like that. If you scroll all the way down, jaw forward, jaw open, jaw forward. So all these things are needed by the iPhone 10 to be able to animate the character correctly. So that's how I was able to create those animations of Darth singing Michael Jackson. So if you haven't seen it over here, go to videos and check him out over here. It's really funny. Let's see it real quick. So that's the one. Check it out when you get a chance. And there's another video over here and Darth Maul, doing his thing. But that character that you see there is what we're using, that we're able to animate right now. And that's made possible because we use CC3 Plus in the transformer tool, and then this app automatically applied the morphs for that. So let's close that. So right now he doesn't look old enough. He looks a little bit young. So what I do is I have to adjust the facial. So I click on morph over here, and I'm able to drag the jaw in, make him a little gaunt, right? So these are things that you can spend a lot of time doing this. But be careful, because as you can see, as I'm moving this morph, it's kind of moving it away from the horn. So you may need to stay away from some of those morphs and just do like maybe the front, things like that. So don't go crazy. There's some limits to what you can do because the horns are not part of the head mesh. They're just accessories. Okay. Another thing is, if you open the mouth, Darth Maul doesn't have good teeth. So you need to go into the content folder under this tab right here. So it might be by project, but go to this tab, click on the mouth and the teeth, and then go through here. Let's find some really uneven teeth. Double click on that. And there you go. So now he has some crooked teeth, and you can even adjust the texture. So I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but you can see like if you go to the scene and have the teeth selected, you can edit the mesh, right? And you can do by element. So if I wanted to move one of these, for example, I can move him up a little bit, or even scale a little bit more. And we can go to the top teeth over here, move it down, and make sure that you're in the local move. If you want to do like sideways, specifically to the local axis, or you can do the wild axis. So we can move this down, and also this one over down, like a little bit like that. So that's how you're able to adjust the teeth. And then you can also sculpt if you want, like that. It's so cool. Like that. Okay. So once you're done, just click edit out of the mesh. Now you have a new set of teeth for Darth Maul, and it will be funny when he's talking, whatever. That's what I did for mine. Okay. And the next step then, let's close the mouth. And then we need to look at the eyes. Make sure you go to modify up here and open close. So before you do that, let's make him blink. And as you can see, the eyes are not closing properly, but guess what? There's a really cool easy fix. You just have to go to modify, correct eye blink, because these models that are coming in from Daz, if it's not a Genesis 8 or 8.1 model, it may have issues with the eyes blinking. So just click on that one time, and it seems like nothing has happened. But the next time you blink, you click on blink, look, it has fixed it. And that was just a one-click fix. So cool. All right. So before you ever send this model away, make sure you do go through this process and do those key things. The next one, you can open his eyes. We need to work a little bit on the skin. Yeah, because sometimes this one comes in looking a little pasty. So what I can do is go to the content again. Now, this is going to be made possible because of the Skin Gen plugin from Reallusion. And some of these, I have links in the description of this video, so you can click on that and check them out. So we'll go over here, and we're going to look for the normal effects tab right over here. We're going to go to facial wrinkles and realistic skin. Now, before we do all that, let's first go to the actual editor over here, click on activate, and it's going to kick us into the editor. It's going to get rid of the clothing for now, and it's going to focus in on just the model. And that's going to give us an opportunity to be able to adjust the model. So right now it's a little too flat for my liking. I click on the skin base over here and scroll all the way down and look for roughness over here. Make sure the head is selected. Okay, click on the skin base again, scroll all the way down, look for that roughness area. So we want him to look a little like shiny, a little bit, because we want the character to catch a few highlights when you light the scene like that. Okay, so that is important. Now, he looks a little bit young because I want him to be a little bit haggard and wrinkly. So I can go to the tab again over here to the normal effects, and then click on normal effects and then the facial wrinkle, go to realistic human skin, Again, these are all part of the Skin Gen plugin. And let's see, let's pick this one. Yeah, double click on it. And there you go. I mean, these things sometimes look so simple, and they go a long way in making the character look really, really good. Okay, so when you're done, I usually also change the texture to like 4096 to see what it's going to look in its highest quality. Okay, and then I also make sure switch from head to body, so that you see how the glossiness over here is cut like only to apply to the head, but when you switch to the body, it automatically applies the settings of the head shader to the rest of the body. So please do this before you move on. So it's going to apply to the legs, the arms, the nails, and then after it's done, you're going to see the same shader matching the body and the head. There we go. All right, now that looks a lot better. Now, see the horns are not here because they're accessories. So those ones you can adjust accordingly once you get there. So let's get out of the, deactivate the editor. It's going to take us back to where we can see all the clothing. And then we'll be ready to send this character to iClone and then do a quick test with the iPhone 10. Because the most important part of all of this is after you've created the model, you've made the beautification and all that, is to make sure the character can animate properly in iClone. So let's give it a minute to do that. All right, so we have the model ready for animation. Okay, so it's a quick, really simple thing. You just go to export avatar over here, click on that, and you want to choose the highest setting over here, and same with all the textures. Now, this we're not doing for gaming, so I'm not going to do any level of detail, and we just go ahead and export. And I'm going to put it in my custom folder. It's very important that you organize this, guys. So I'm going to put it in the mail. We're going to call him, I'm going to put an A just so he's at the top, and save. All right, so we are actually done inside of Character Creator 3. So what we just did was, first we found the model, right? Added it to Daz, okay? Loaded a Genesis 3 model because it's a Genesis 3 set of clothing. And then we went to the Genesis 3 mail. So that's what we did. Double click on this and put them in here. And then we scrolled all the way down and found the SW-DAC M folder. And then we started applying all this to the Genesis 3 model. Exported it as an FBX file. Brought it into Character Creator 3 using the Transformer tool, CC3 Plus. Okay, that was crucial. And then we use the skin editor over here, the editor, to modify a lot of the skin textures and all that. We also enhanced the eyes. We fixed the teeth. We worked on the eyes, making sure that they close. So that's, now you can close this if you want, but I recommend that you actually save this scene because you may need to modify the character later on. I'm going to close this, and we're going to bring up iClone. Okay, have a new project ready. Just go File, New Project, go to the Avatar tab, go to Custom because that's where we saved it, and we're going to go to Character. I put mine in the 2021 folder over here, and it was in the Lab folder. CC3 Characters Mail. I try to be organized, and is more a more over here. So let's go back here, and if you have your layout like this, simply right click in an empty space here, and can also do Control plus, and then Control plus again. That increases the size of these thumbnails, and double click on our Darth Maul character, and then we're going to test the iPhone 10 to see if blend shapes are actually working with ARKit. because that is the end result. Without that, it's just a beautiful model. Press the J key on the keyboard to focus on the face. So we have our character ready for animation. Now you need to go to plugins, go to Motion Live over here, and Live Face. So go ahead and load the Live Face app on your phone, and then copy that IP address that you see on your iPhone 10 after the app has been loaded. And then I recommend you copy and then paste. Once you have the correct IP address, activate Live Face and it should turn green. That means that the IP address is connected correctly to the iPhone 10. And then click on the face over here and switch to Live Face. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a preview. Like press spacebar, click on preview first, then press spacebar. And there's Darth Maul talking, as you can see that. And now I'm using a medium high setting over here. But if I'm going to be animating, it's better to actually switch to quick mode. And this, you probably want to do this before this is active. And then click on preview again. So press SPA. All right, so when I'm talking, it's not matching up properly. So I need to set a 0 key. So I look directly into the phone, eyes open. After the 0 pose is set, now you can see that the lips are moving much, much better. What? I am Darth Maul. So guys, that's how I was able to create Darth Maul and make him animatable. And so the way to test to see if he's actually using the correct profile, it's ARKit, and that's exactly what's happening right now. It's driving the head just like everything it was in CC3. So everything is working perfectly, and that's how I was able to achieve the nuance of these characters to be able. So that is cool. So when you're ready, you can also switch to smooth over here and activate it. And for the head rotation, right now you see how it's like rotating slow, like smoothly. If I turn it down, then you can see the movement of the head going like that. So that's how you smooth out the animation. So same thing with the eyes, like that it's almost like active smoothing, you know. It does that. So even with the blinking and all that. And so that's how I was able to create this character and make him talk using ARKit. And as I always recommend you to use the quick mode to be able to animate him. So any other model that you get from Daz 3D, you'll be able to animate using this same process. And always switch to quick mode. And as you can see, this frame rate is 60 frames per second. I recommend that you also turn off the clothing so that there's less memory taken up. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and please do please spare a minute to subscribe. Go to my channel and subscribe, and thank you so much for helping me get to 10,000. Let's get to 100,000. Yes, as I always say, guys, dare to dream big and never ever give up on your dream. You've been held there through the trenches with me. You've seen this channel grow, and I owe it all to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And may we continue to pursue our dreams that create these awesome stories, and take advantage of the technology that we have right now to tell our stories. Right. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time with another quick insight. As always, dare to dream big and never give up on your dream, guys. I'll continue to pray for you, every single one of you guys, wherever you are in the world, praying for you. Bye for now.